heading out to go get my tire fixed because it keeps having a slow leak. So I'll film some of the way over there and then show you guys what's up when I get there. I made it to the bike shop in time. They're gonna go ahead and lube my chain and get me some a new tube. It's 4th of July. Happy 4th. I'm gonna walk up and down the street and try to ask a few people what the 4th of July means to them. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. It looks like a lot of people are wearing their masks. I'll wear mine just out of respect for other people. I don't really like wearing it outside, but you know, you never know what people's comfort level is. It looks like most groups of people are kind of keeping them off when they're walking outside, so we'll see how this goes. Freedom. What does freedom mean to me? I'll tell you a story. When I was 13 years old, I went to Ethiopia during the winter break. I think I was in 8th grade. And I went to Ethiopia, the capital city called Addis Ababa. I'll show a link to a map or something right now. And it's a very large city that has a lot of like shanty towns that are kind of like, what did they call them? One of the ladies I went with called them the plastic project houses or something. People would come in from other countries and build up these like, what would be considered, you know, very primitive housing here in America, but it was a lot better than what a lot of people had there. So poverty in a country like that is on a whole nother level compared to poverty in a country like the United States. So I was glad I had the experience, and you know, I really do think that everybody from the developed world should go to a country like Ethiopia, at least for a little while, to experience what actual poverty is like. You know, because when we got there, we landed in the airport, and we got in this little truck. It was like a little Toyota pickup truck, and it was like a 1980s Toyota pickup truck, and there was like 6 or 8 of us in the back, and it was the little ones, not like a big truck, the little ones in the back, like where the camper is. And so we're all in there, and we're driving, and I remember that one of the ladies that was I went with, she said, "Do you smell that smell?" And it smelled pretty rancid, and what the smell was it was there was a cemetery where they had just piled up bodies on the other side of a fence. You know, between that and like open sewers, countries like that are definitely way more impoverished than the United States. So, like I said, it's good to go experience that kind of stuff because that's actual poverty compared to the United States. So, yeah, let's see what people think about that. So the question, what does freedom mean to me? Freedom means being able to do whatever you want in a way that isn't hurting or harming other people, and you know, being able to choose a career at will. In the United States, you can move around anywhere you want. You can change your career every other day. There's access to education, although it's very overpriced, and there's no guarantee of getting jobs. At least we have those opportunities. In other countries like that, you may be born into just a horribly impoverished family. I remember there was a house that was like maybe 200 or 300 square feet at the most, just like walls with a tin roof. And you know, there was like, it's not very uncommon to see, you know, 6 or 8 people living in a house that size. So I kind of see the dichotomy when I look at, like, let's say the space that I have. I probably have, 600 square foot or more to myself right now. And anytime I ever have issues here, I start getting down about, where I'm at in my life. I think back to that, and that's when it really puts things into perspective, when you realize how much you actually have. So yeah, it's a good thing to experience. Yeah, and another thing about that too, I will say this. This is a pretty, we'll say, worldwide cultural thing. I've noticed that a lot of the most impoverished people are actually some of the happiest and most genuine people I've ever met. Here's another story from Ethiopia. This is actually pretty common. Let's say you arrive at somebody's house. A lot of people have like a housemaid or like a house, I'll say servant for lack of a better term, just somebody who works with the family and helps out. And if they have, visitors arriving, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll send them out the back door and they'll get them to go get a Coke, like a Pepsi or a Fanta. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, I'm literally right around the corner. Yeah, I can step out by where the service area is. Okay, cool. Hold that thought, I gotta get my bike.
Take from me is yours to have.
There you go. So I'll just start off. What's your name? You don't have to give me a full name, it's like first name.
My name, I go by Johnny Paul. Now,
go by Johnny Paul.
I want to tell you why. Johnny Paul was Opie's best friend on the Andy Griffith show.
All right.
You know who Opie was? Ronnie Howard.
No,
Ronnie Howard.
I want to watch more of the Andy Griffith show because I know a lot of the older comedians and like stand-up artists and improvers took a lot from that era of television. You know what I'm saying?
Don Knotts.
So, what was the name?
Well, Don Knotts was the sidekick. Don Knotts was Barney Fife, was the cop who had his bullet in his pocket. He was only allowed one bullet, and he kept it in his pocket. And every time he put it in his gun, he almost blew his foot off with it.
So it was like this
funny.
ongoing joke?
Yeah, ongoing joke. It was so funny. Are you recording?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, good, because I wanted you to get that.
No, I figured
anyway,
I'll just record it all.
Yeah. So I go by Johnny Paul. My name is really close to Johnny Paul.
There you go.
My real name. But anyway, Johnny Paul was Opie's best friend on Andy Griffith. And Opie, well, let me tell you something about Opie.
Let's hear it. I want to hear a story about Opie.
Opie was actually, I think, short for Opie, Opie something. Maybe Opie. Anyway.
Opie Paul.
Opie Paul.
Opie Paul, okay. Yeah. Just so I got it right.
Yeah, actually it was Opie. Sheriff Andy Taylor's son on Andy Griffith's show.
All right.
So anyway, that's what we're talking about. And me, Johnny Paul. Anyway, this gentleman asked me to talk a little bit about freedom as I stand here and smoke some of Mother Nature's finest.
Hey man, it's legal. I don't.
And it's legal, and he doesn't have any. He's not biased in any way or shape or form, or else I wouldn't have talked to him.
Yeah, I don't really care what other people do as long as it's not hurting me, you know. Yesterday I had somebody follow me home, aggressive driver. I have a problem with that. You know what I mean?
That is very commendable that you mentioned that I as well. And
yeah, I made a police report about the whole thing. It was pretty ridiculous. I just called him out on his ridiculous behavior because the guy came flying up to me at a red light, and then he slammed on his brakes, and he was like really, like ridiculously close to me. The light had already been red for like 10 seconds, so I was already parked, like completely parked. There's no way he didn't know, you know what I mean? And then when the light turns green, he's like ramming his car up my swerves over, does the same thing with the car next to me, and then swerves in front of me and starts hauling gets to the next light, and of course I end up catching up to him. And then I'm recording him because I need this license plate, you know what I mean? And he must have seen me do that. I didn't see him turn around because he went straight and I turned. And a few minutes later I come outside my house and that mother sitting there right in front of my car taking pictures of my car. So I'm like, damn it, is this guy gonna come smash my windows or something? You know what I mean? Where I lived in Albuquerque for 6 years.
You what?
I lived in Albuquerque for 6 years in New Mexico.
Yeah, I know Albuquerque.
You'd get shot if you follow somebody home in that city. You know what I mean? That's pretty sketchy, man.
Yeah, I live in Tucson. That's way Tucson.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You don't do that. You don't do that.
You don't. I'm sorry. What do you need? I don't have it. Sorry, honey. Catch me again next time, okay?
There you go.
Hey, I'll tell you what. And it's commendable that did I hear you right? Did you admit that, hey, you have a problem with aggressive driving, you gotta watch yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I drive a sports car, but I don't do that, you know what I mean?
Well,
it's like, look, dude, you're in Boulder, you're not getting anywhere. That's the thing.
They pass you, they're gonna be right there 2 seconds in front of you.
Yeah, it's a little bit different if you're like getting on the interstate. Okay, sure, you'll be gone and I don't have to deal with you anymore. But I called him out on it. I called him out on it, and that's when he got really pissed. And it's like, look, you're gonna act like a jack. At least be able to own up to it. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
You
and
know? So
did you say that to him?
Well, all I had chance because I ended up next to each other. I just told him, I said, you drive like a idiot, man. And he goes, oh, you have a problem? Do something about it. And I'm like, all right. You know, it was pretty ridiculous.
I wish you were a third-degree black belt because
yeah, I don't want to start, you know what I mean? I don't want to have a fight. Yeah.
There's nothing at all worth getting physical over in traffic.
Yeah.
And I had to put a note on my dashboard, bro, that says, do not drive like an asshole, number one. and another one that says, you can go follow me in my car right now and see it's on my dashboard, taped to it.
Yeah.
Drive as courteous as possible.
Was this a note for you or for everybody?
For me.
That's what I thought.
For me.
So it's just a reminder.
No matter what anybody else does to me in traffic, there is no justification for me acting irresponsible.
Yeah.
And like
I worked at a ski area. You know where Albuquerque is, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's Sandia Mountains.
Yeah.
There's a ski area at the top. Most people don't know that. It's on the other side. If you ride the tram, that's the top of the runs, right there at the top of the tram.
I know exactly.
So I worked there for 2 seasons, right? As a ski tech, so I'd help set up skis and boards, you know. So you go up there every day. You know what the road's like, right? And I had a 2002 Subaru Impreza hatchback, a little black Subaru. And you know, I drove up in the morning and there was no ice on the road, but apparently during the day there was enough melt, runoff, and then shade in certain areas. There was like one patch of ice on the way down, and I hit that patch of ice going around the corner about 70 miles an hour around this swooping corner.
Did you gas it?
So here's what I did. I know a decent amount about cars, and I've had some crazy stuff happen.
I bet you're a damn good driver.
So, and I'm hyper reflexive.
I bet you're damn.
So I like. So what happened was, I think I was in 4th gear, and I downshifted to 3rd because I knew I was going to need them RPMs and the power, right?
I knew it.
And I start counter steering because I'm trying to get it back.
Steer into it, man. You don't want to steer away from it.
And I start counter steering, and then I'm getting it to straighten out. The corner's going around, and then the road, straightens out. But I'm still about 30 degrees sideways, and I'm starting to head towards the snowbank. And this is late season.
Still doing about 70?
I would probably slow down to 40 or 50 by that time because that's slowed down a lot. But the suspension wasn't really symmetrical; it was kind of beat up, so it didn't do everything perfectly. So
I drive a '99 Corolla.
So you would know, struts get worn out uneven.
Yeah, I'm fully with you.
So I'm going, and I'm getting towards the snowbank. Like I said, late season snowbank is melted and frozen, melted and frozen. There's a hard layer, soft layer, hard layer. It's got this weird texture, and it's not that deep, deep, and all of a sudden it's just a sheer wall of ice. So I'm going into it, and there's a passenger too.
Oh.
I'm starting to go in, and we never said a word the whole time.
The whole slide.
We didn't say a word, man. We were both just, and
you're just going right on, man.
Yeah. So I start straightening out. But I'm getting into it, and I'm almost straight, but I'm going into it. And it's digging in. and it gets just far enough off the road that it hits solid ice. We're still going about 40 miles an hour. Boom! Launches the car up. We do a barrel roll. We did a barrel roll. Complete one full barrel roll. Hit the right, front right and back right tires, and then slam down on the left side. And then, so it's like rock wall over here, and then a dirt road that goes down a little bit. And we landed straight with the road, starting to go this way. It breaks the front left aluminum alloy wheel in like 3 different directions. It broke one of the spokes.
Whoa!
It broke all the way down to, you know, the axle direction, and then it broke like straight with the wheel. And
that's some hard hit.
And then we stopped. And I looked at him, and he's like, I was ready to die, man. And I get out because it happened so fast. Because I remember looking up, seeing the ground. I remember looking up, seeing the ground, because we were completely upside down.
Man,
and I thought for sure the roof's been caved in.
Yeah, you're gonna land upside down.
I thought we hit the roof.
Yeah.
So I go out expecting the body of the car to be all crunched up and bent, and I look and I'm like, we didn't touch any. Well, all we did was land on the wheels. Yeah.
One wheel.
And I looked at it. I could not believe what I saw.
Dog.
I go.
That's just like something I would have done.
I looked around and I go, this is crazy, man. And my dad lived right down the mountain, so I called him and he brought his trailer. We were able to pull it onto his flatbed, and then I put my normal wheels and tires on and went to work the next day.
No.
But here's the crazy part. About a month or 2 later, this thought just kind of popped into my head, and I go, well, I thought, what if I actually died when that happened? And this is just a dream from that moment on. 16.
Yeah! See, listen, this cat right here is extremely intelligent.
Well,
and I have a lot of confidence in him, in my heart, in my soul, in my brain, in my everything. And so I want everybody listening to this man's advice to remember this man is one. Well, let's just say Leonardo da Vinci at this time.
There you go, man. That's pretty.
That?
That's a damn good compliment right there.
Can I do it?
I'll take that. Johnny Paul.
Johnny Paul.
That's the nickname. That's the man. I'm gonna ride on off. Ride on off into the sunset.
We'll paint that Mona Lisa again.
There you go. Take it easy, man.
I will, bro.
Things are gonna get better.
So I'm editing this video. It is kind of long, but I kind of wanted to show me talking to that Johnny Paul guy. I wanted to go walk around Boulder and ask more people, but I ended up talking to Johnny Paul for 1 whole hour. And it's hard to distill that long of a conversation down and to get some of the cool points. I missed a lot of, we talked about riding dirt bikes. He had been in some crazy wrecks. Really cool dude. A lot of really interesting stories. Pretty heady character. He said that he actually had done some heroin for a while. He was addicted to it for a while, and he got himself completely out of that, and he was almost completely off of the recovery drugs. So good on him for that. The story that I was telling you a story about how the Ethiopian people would send their housemaid servant person. It's hard to explain what it is until you actually see. Like, I went to an orphanage. Well, I stayed with people who ran the orphanage. The people in the United States who I went with, my neighbors, they started an orphanage in like the mid 80s to mid 90s. They went and checked on it every 6 months. And when I was 13, they were my neighbors, and they said, hey, do you want to come with us? So that's when I went when I was 13, during my 8th grade break or whatever. So what they would do is they'd send the servant person out the back door when they knew you were coming in, so like right as you come in, and they'd go to the local little like Pepsi, Coke store, and they'd get a bottle of Coke or Fanta or whatever it was from their actual bottles, actual real cane sugar, and they'd send them to get the bottle, and then they'd come back and give you the thing as like a greeting, And the Pepsi isn't the interesting part. What's the interesting part is that drink cost them, I think, the equivalent of like a week's worth of wage or something like that. Or a day's worth of a normal person's wage. So them giving you that drink is a lot more than just them giving you that drink. So I just wanted to mention that thing, you know. So the whole thing I was trying to get at was freedom and freedom of choice and whatnot. Poor people tend to have less choices, therefore they're less burdened by the burden of choice. And so that was the story. I just wanted to tell that part, but I got a phone call from the bike shop, and then I had to go get my bike. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the Johnny Paul stories. He was a lot of fun to talk to. Really cool cat. He really enjoyed it, and that's something that I challenge everybody to go do. Go talk to that random person. You might learn something. Thanks for watching.